Greetings, wonderful audience. Amarjit here from Amar PTE classes. I hope you all are doing fantastic. So, do subscribe to my channel if you have not subscribed yet. Now, in this video, I'm take a test of listening section. This is the live mock test of the listening section, and these are the tasks which are contributing in the listening section. So, in this all modules of the listening section are present because repeat sentence is basically the task of speaking, but it is contributing in listening. So you have to focus on the main task of the listening section if your score in listening is weak. Means if you are getting low score in the listening section, then focus on the repeat sentence, then retell lecture, summarize spoken text, listening filling the blanks, highlight incorrect words and write from dictation, because these are the tasks which are contributing most in the listening section. So let's start without wasting of time. Check your microphone.
Application forms.
It's working. Record your voice. Check your microphone. Check your microphone. So this is repeat sentence. First question.
A good education helps you recognize yourself and your strengths.
A good education will help you to recognize yourself.
During the childhood development, the importance of education is stronger than ever.
The importance of education is stronger than ever.
A good education not only teaches you skills, but also helps you broaden your horizons.
A good education not only teaches you skills but also broaden your horizons.
Mental health is important at every stage of life, from childhood through adulthood.
Mental health is important at every stage of life, from childhood through adulthood.
History gives us the tools to analyze and explain problems in the past.
History gives us the tools to explain problems in the past.
Most adults require between 7 and 9 hours of nightly sleep.
Most adults require between 7 and 9 hours of nightly sleep.
The prospect of living in a city does not appeal to me.
The prospect of living in a city does not appeal to me.
The free banking system has been in operation since the early 80s.
The first banking system has been in operation since the early 80s.
Most supermarkets in this country sell a range of organic products.
Most supermarkets in this country sell a range of organic products.
They are collecting information in preparation for the future talk.
They are collecting information in preparation for the future talk.
We know that dolphins use sound to communicate with each other.
We know that dolphins use sound to communicate with each other. So this is retell lecture. No.
Why can't we transplant brains? First of all, we should look at what the brain actually does. This thing inside our skulls that weighs on average about 3.3 pounds is larger in humans than any other vertebrae when compared to body weight. That's why we are so brainy. The busy brain is our command center for our nervous system, which takes in data from our body and gives directions to our muscles. In fact, it does so much work, it requires about 20% of our energy to run it. When we are brain dead, we no longer have any neurological activity. With the help of machines, we can be kept alive for a short time, but within a week, the body will not be able to function. While we may still be alive in some sense for that week, we are technically dead when the brain is dead. Some good news is that during the time we are kept alive, some of our other organs can be donated. But why can't we accept someone else's brain? When we transplant something such as a heart, surgeons use a mechanical pump to keep blood flowing through the body while the new heart is being put in. The new heart is then connected to the major blood vessels, and this might take several hours. You'll stay in the hospital for 1 to 2 weeks, and if your body doesn't reject its new heart, it's said 87 out of 100 people make it through the year, and 60 out of 100 get through another decade. So wouldn't it just be possible to open the skull and connect a new brain where the removed brain was connected? This question was asked to a professor of neurosurgery at Yale in 2013. He actually did say that one day this operation might be successful, but right now we are not even close. The reason is because it's just too darn difficult to connect nerve fibers from the new brain to the native spinal cord. This, he said, is why spinal cord injuries can be so devastating. If we could transplant brains, we would likely not have so many people that are disabled due to spinal injuries.
So note down the phrases in the retail lecture and use a good template. The speaker was discussing what the brain actually does. He talked about brain is center of nervous system. He mentioned that the body will not be able to function. He highlighted that the major blood vessels. He discussed that open the skull and connect a new brain. Finally, he suggested that we are technically dead if our brain is dead. Overall, the lecture was very informative. Answer short question.
Which word can be used to describe an inexperienced person, fledgling or veteran?
Fledgling.
What is the yearly recurrence of the date of a past event?
Anniversary.
What kind of animal does hippopotamus belong to, herbivore or carnivore?
Herbivore.
How many legs do quadruped animals have?
4.
Which word is more related to peasants, industry or agriculture?
Agriculture.
What do we call an underground pipe that is used to carry sewage away from houses?
Underground pipes. Because I don't know the answer. Summarize spoken text. Again, note down the phrases.
Dogs are noted for their extreme friendliness towards humans. They crave human company and gaze intently at their human companions. The partnership between dogs and humans stretches back tens of thousands of years into prehistoric times. It has worked out surprisingly well for dogs, who, with human backing, have become Earth's most abundant land carnivore. Dogs evolved from wolves through a process of domestication by humans. Even when they're hand-raised by humans, modern wolves seldom show the degree of devotion to humans that dogs do. This has led scientists to suspect that the hypersociality of dogs towards humans is more than just a learned trait and has to do with evolved genetic differences between dogs and wolves. In 2022, a team of American geneticists published findings identifying genetic differences between dogs and wolves that may be responsible for the special canine attachment to humans. On chromosome number 6 of the dog genome, the researchers identified several genes associated with dog hypersociality. Interestingly, these genes correspond to parts of the human genome that are also involved in social behavior. Specifically, mutations in the corresponding part of the human genome can lead to a rare condition called Williams-Boyrin syndrome. People with this syndrome have hypersocial behavior like that of dogs, along with certain cognitive deficits. Researchers have found evidence that dogs may have cognitive deficits like those of people with this syndrome. The findings might tell us far more than just how social devotion to humans evolved in dogs. Given the genetic similarities, they may tell us much about how social behavior evolved in humans.
So you can follow template in this task. So this is the first line from template. The speaker was talking about dogs being noted for friendliness. So friendliness, if you are confused in spelling, then you have to write friendly, then ness. Then give a full stop. Second line. Firstly, the first letter of the second line should be capital. Then firstly, this is the connector. Give a space. He discussed the process of domestication by humans second line. Now third line. Secondly, comma, he mentioned, this is the line from template, mentioned identifying the genetic differences and this is next line. In addition, he explained several genes associated with dogs. Moreover, the lecture was all about social behavior in human. So word limit is 50 to 70 words and time limit is 10 minutes. Now we have 45 words. It should be humans. So you can write down the additional phrases also. So I have phrases. So I am editing here. And this is the connector for joining the lines. And I am using here surprisingly. Surprisingly well for dogs. Dogs. This is the next phrase and I have one more phrase. So I am adding here and genetic similarities so 53 words and I am adding last line here. Overall, the lecture was very informative for me. So total words here is 61 words. So this is the line from the template the speaker was talking about, and this is the phrase dogs being noted for friendliness. So if you are write down the phrase like dogs noted for friendliness, then you have to make some grammatical sense. So I am using here being extra from my side because it's make a grammatical sense. Next, firstly, he discussed the process of domestication. This is as it is phrase, but I am adding here the because this is the noun. So before noun, we have to use the. By humans and surprisingly well for dogs. This is second phrase and this is the third phrase. Now this is the next line. Secondly, he mentioned line from the template. Now this is the phrase identifying the genetic differences. So if you are writing like identify the genetic difference, then it will not make a sense because this is the line from the past sentence and this is the line from the present sentence. So you have to make some sense. So I am writing here identifying the genetic differences. Next, in addition, he explains several genes associated with dogs. This is the next phrase. If you are using several, then you have to write plural here. You can't write gene because I am using here several word. So I am writing here genes associated with dogs and genetic similarities. This is the next keyword. Moreover, the lecture was all about social behavior in humans. You can write the behavior like VIOUR and VIOR because in British and American it's different. So I am using here. Overall, the lecture was very informative for me. So total words are 61 words and word limit is 50 to 70 words and time limit is 10 minutes in this task. So click on the next button. Multiple choice, multiple answers.
Babies as young as a year and a half old see someone else being treated unfairly. They expect the leader, the parent, or the caregiver in that situation to step in and do something about it.
Babies evaluate others constantly.
Renee Bayarjon is a psychologist at the University of Illinois. She led the research on babies expecting fairness.
When these transgressions occur, babies evaluate parents and other leaders and say, well, you saw this transgression. You know this is not fair. Are you going to do something about it? If you don't, then you are shirking your responsibilities and it makes you less of a leader, less of a parent.
That's right. Babies are judging you. Bayarjon says it seems babies are born with these expectations of what a leader is and how they should behave. The work is in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences.
So this task has the negative marking. So tick that option in which you are sure. So I'm sure in the C option, when something unfair happens, babies judge their parents and other leaders. So I'm choosing this option. You can choose 2 or 3 more options, but if I'm not sure about other options, so I'm choosing only this option. Filling the blanks.
The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change released the first part of its latest assessment report, The Earth is Warming. Even with a drastic reduction in greenhouse gas emissions, temperatures will probably be 1.5 degrees Celsius above their late 19th century levels by 2050. Climate change is underway, the report laments, with all the environmental consequences that brings. The extent of the damage depends on the cumulative build-up of emissions and can be limited if the world strives for net zero carbon emissions.
So in the first one, it's released. Proofreading is very important in every task of writing. So this is the spelling of released, RELEASED. Check your spellings also. Next is the reduction, REDUCTION, reduction. Next is the will. So with will we use first form of verb. So here it is probably, PROBABLY, probably. All the environmental consequences. So here it is word all. So with all we use plural. So here it is consequences. Check your spellings of consequences. Next is limited. So if the B is before the blank, so with B we use ed form. So here it is limited. Released, reduction, probably, consequences, then limited.
European market is a tough terrain for food delivery firms. Delivery Hero has had a good run in the past couple of years. In August 2020, it ascended to the DAX, the stock market index of Germany's most valuable listed firms. It is present in 50 countries on 4 continents. Revenue for the third quarter was €1.8 billion, that's $2 billion, a jump of 89% compared with the same period in 2020. We grew 100% before Corona, 100% during Corona, and we will grow 100% after Corona, says Niklas Ostberg, the Berlin-based firm's Swedish chief executive. By numbers of orders, Delivery Hero is more than twice as big as DoorDash, its large American rival.
So in the first one, it's delivery, food delivery, has a good run, most valuable, compared, because the line is in the past, so we use ed form, compared, exactive. So check your spellings, it's easy. Delivery, run, valuable, compared and exactive. Keep your cursor here.
The lives of distinguished people often take a lot of telling, yet even devotees might raise an eyebrow at the heft of Sir Paul McCartney's memoir, 2 volumes totalling 960 pages. Casual Beatles fans may be surprised by the title too, though most would consider Sir Paul the band's best musician, with an honourable mention for George Harrison. John Lennon typically gets the plaudits for writing. In a poll by the BBC in 2001 to rank the greatest lyricists, Lennon received more than twice as many votes as McCartney.
So in the first one is distinguished, dis, then tin, then guished. Check your spellings, distinguished. Next is raise, raise an eyebrow. Next is surprised, again before blank it's B, so it's ed form, surprised. Next is magician. Next is typically, with double ly, typically. So we will check answer later. And this is highlight correct summary. You can choose only one option. Mostly the result in the end of the audio, like conclusion.
To enjoy a harmonious union with someone, we should ensure that we have plenty of sources of excitement, reassurance and stimulation outside of them. When we hit problems, we should be able to lean on other supports. The demand that another person compensate us for all that's alarming, wearing or deficient in our lives is a mechanism for systematically destroying any relationship. Our conflicts and disappointments will at once feel more manageable when we stop asking our partner to function always as our long-lost other half. The more we can survive without a relationship, the greater will be that relationship's chances of survival and fulfillment. We will truly give love a chance when we stop believing that it can single-handedly save us.
So in highlight correct summary, it will give you 1 or 2 points in reading as well as in the listening. So always the result in the end of the audio, because correct summary means the conclusion of the summary. So conclusion is always given in the last of the audio. So according to me, this is the correct option. MCQ single answer, you can choose only one option here. What does the speaker mainly talk about?
The year 2020 has been a tumultuous one for educators. hundreds of thousands of teachers across the globe had to get to grips with online platforms to deliver their lessons. Millions of students were stuck at home doing their lessons via websites like Zoom. This has created an unprecedented transformation in education as technology has taken centre stage. The quality of education differed around the world according to the quality of internet connections, the level of preparedness of teachers, and their competence in engaging with the technology. It also depended on what kind of devices students had at home. Many students were deprived of lessons because they had no computer, tablet, or smartphone.
So in B, C and D there is the negative. So in A here is some positive answer. Technology becomes the important factor in online education. So this is the some positive view of the audio. So I am taking this answer. We will check it later. Select missing word.
Each night, your brain moves through several sleep cycles. At the start of each cycle, you enter light sleep, then move into deep sleep, then dream, and finally move back into light sleep. These cycles take about 90 minutes each, and you'll feel most refreshed if you wake up at the end of a cycle, because then you're closest to your normal waking state. To increase the chances of this, decide when you want to wake up, then count back in 90-minute blocks until you find a time close to when you want to fall asleep. So let's imagine you want to wake up at 8 AM. Chunking back in 90-minute blocks would look like this. And so you should aim to fall asleep around either 11 o'clock or 12:30 at night. And so if you want to wake up feeling especially alert and refreshed, simply follow.
So speaker was talking about the 90-minute rule. So I am taking this option. Next question. You will get 2 questions in the final exam as well of select missing word.
Hiroshi Ishiguro, a robot engineer from Osaka University, makes Geminoids, extremely realistic human robots. It's important that they look exactly like real people for Ishiguro to carry out his research. He's interested in understanding philosophical questions such as what is identity and what might happen if a person and their robot double were able to be in 2 places at the same time. His Geminoid robots have rubber skin and their heads are controlled by motors. These move the head, blink, twitch, shrug the shoulders, and make the robot appear to be breathing during conversations. As well as this, there are motors which are connected to a computer, microphone, and camera. These scan the controller's voice and face movements, then send messages back to the robot, which copies them. The robot's body and skin stop at his chest, though, and he has no robotic legs, so you won't see him.
Highlight incorrect words. Most important task of the listening section as well as the reading section. So keep your cursor here in the middle.
Pharmaceutical companies sometimes have to pull new drugs off the market because they harm our livers. The drugs may have been tested on liver cells from rats or on human cells that are nearly dead, but these kinds of tests do a poor job of mimicking real livers. Now researchers at MIT have developed a better method. They've created a colony of human liver cells that act like the real thing. The research was published in the journal Nature Biotechnology. The cell colonies are only 500 millionths of a meter in diameter. Researchers arrange the cells on a plate in much the same way as copper wires are placed on computer chips. These microlivers mimic the actions of real livers, including producing enzymes necessary to break down drugs and other toxins. The tiny organs last for 6 weeks, so they can evaluate the effects of drugs over a longer time period than current tests. A startup company has licensed the technology and is preparing it for market. The little livers could be cheaper and more accurate than drug tests now used. Thanks for the minute. For Scientific American's 60-Second Science, I'm Cynthia Graber.
So in this paragraph, 6 words are incorrect. You can check your answers as well. Second question. You will get 2 to 3 questions in the final exam as well.
Fed up with the polar vortex? If so, consider this. Shivering may actually share some of the benefits of exercise, at least in terms of burning fat. Researchers studied shivering in a group of 10 men and women. First, the volunteers rested under a temperature-controlled blanket, which dropped from 80 degrees Fahrenheit to a chilly 54. Then they cycled on an exercise bike. Researchers took blood samples during both activities. Turns out shivering and exercise spurred muscles to secrete similar amounts of irisin, a hormone that tells brown fat to turn up the furnace, even though exercise took 10 times as much effort. The researchers say the metabolic pathway may have evolved to save us energy. Shivering alone is a costly survival mechanism. It relies on muscle contraction to warm us, whereas shivering activated brown fat can convert chemical energy directly to heat. This study's in the journal Cell Metabolism. As for your home thermostat, study author Francesco Celli of the NIH likes to keep his at 68, low enough to turn on brown fat. And it's a win-win. You'll save money on heat because you're making your own. Thanks for the minute. For Scientific American's 60-Second Science, I'm Christopher Intagliata.
So here 5 words are incorrect. This is the next one.
Various studies have suggested that eating garlic can be good for you. It's been credited with lowering blood pressure, protecting against heart disease, preventing blood clots, even fighting off colds. Now researchers from the University of Alabama at Birmingham think they have a better idea how garlic might work its medicinal magic. The Alabama team exposed red blood cells to the juices pressed from a standard supermarket-issue clove of garlic, and they found that the garlic-soaked cells started giving off hydrogen sulfide, which is the gas that gives rotten eggs their delightful bouquet. Okay, I know you're probably thinking that smelling like sewage seems even more odious than reeking of garlic, but on a molecular level, a pinch of hydrogen sulfide can be just what the doctor ordered, because hydrogen sulfide serves as a chemical messenger that helps relax blood vessels and increase blood flow, which could explain some of garlic's cardiovascular benefits. Of course, more studies are needed to show whether a clove a day really does keep the doctor away. In the meantime, enjoy your garlic bread, and don't worry about the garlic breath. Just think what the insides of your arteries must smell like. Thanks for the minute. For Scientific American's 60-Second Science, I'm Karen Hopkin.
Write from dictation. So 4 questions are pending.
People in this kind of job tend to work long hours.
So sentence is people in this kind of job tend to work long hours. So I am adding here the extra and a extra. So this is the sentence. You have to start the line with the first capital letter people in this kind of job, because in this, so we are using job, not jobs. Tend to work long hours. So if you are confused in job and jobs, then you can write down both. So I am adding here jobs also. So close your line with the full stop. Second question.
Their background gives them little chance of achieving at school.
So sentence is their background, not T-H-E-R-E there. So it is talking about some people. So we are using here their background. So first write the back, then ground, gives them little chance of achieving at the school. So their background gives them, so I am adding here a extra, little chance of achieving at the school. Next question.
He developed his own program in partnership with an American expert.
So sentence is, he developed his own program, developed his own, means apna own program in partnership with an American A capital expert. So adding here the, he developed. If you are confused in developed and developed, then you can write both, develop, but understanding of grammar is important in write from dictation with an American expert.
Universities can also act as a cultural agent in our society.
Universities can also act as a cultural agent in our society. So if you are confused in university and universities, then you can write both, can also act as cultural agent in our society. So I am adding here agents. So let's submit it, check result. So it will take some time to compile the overall result of the listening section. So meanwhile we can check our answers of the listening, because you can check your score of the listening. So this is 10 out of 10. Content, form, grammar, spelling and vocabulary. So you can follow my template as well as you can follow your own template, but note down the phrases because keywords are not working in 2024. So if you are making one grammar mistake, then you will get 1 point. If you are making 2 or more than mistakes, more than 2, then you will get 0 point. And it's the rule same for the spellings as well. So next is, correct option was C and D for MCQ multiple answers, but I was sure in C, so I am choosing C there. And this is the filling the blanks, released, reduction, probably, consequences, limited. You can check your answers as well. Check your spellings. Proofreading is very important in every task of the writing section of PTE. Delivery, run, valuable, compared, executive. And this is distinguished, take lot of telling, raise, surprised, क्योंकि बी है यहाँ पे, with B we use ed form, magician, then typically. And this is highlight correct summary, B option, single answer, select missing word, it's not much important, and this is highlight incorrect word. So 6 words were incorrect in the first paragraph. This was the first question. And this is the second question. 5 out of 5 words are incorrect in this paragraph. And this is the next question. 4th words are incorrect. This is the sequence, this is the pattern of AP Uni. If you are taking a mock test or the section test of the listening, then this is the pattern of AP Uni. If you are getting 3 paragraphs, then in first paragraph it should 6 in incorrect words, second 5, and then in the last one 4th words are incorrect. So this is the sentence. People in this kind of job tend to work long hours. One word is contributing 1 point. So write from dictation is the most important task. Their backgrounds gives them little chance of achieving at school. So check your spellings of achieving, because students get confused in I and E. He developed his own program in partnership with an American expert. A should be capital in case of American. if the name of the country is given in the sentence. Universities can also act as a cultural agent in our society. So here it is university, society. Check your spelling of society. So these are the answers from the listening section. So let's refresh it. So this is the answer from the speaking section. It's 79, then 84, 86. In it's 79. A good education will help you to recognize yourself. So I am adding here will help you. So avoid extra words. Don't add words at your own end in case of repeat sentence. So you can lose marks if you are adding words. This is the same case for the read aloud. In second it's 84, third it's 86, then 89. Mental health is very important at every stage of life. Mental health is important at every stage of life from childhood through adulthood. So if you want to achieve 80 plus or 70 plus, then you have to repeat this content, means more than 70 or 90% content. But if you want to achieve 60 or 60 plus, like 65, then you can repeat 50% of the content, then you will get good score. Next is 81, 83, 74. This is easy. Content is 90.
The prospect of living in a city does not appeal to me.
Fluency. Content is 90, but in pronunciation and fluency, I think it's low. But it was very easy. 76, 86. So here it will take some time to compile it. So it's 70. They are collecting information. Again, content
They are collecting information in preparation for the future talk.
So if you want to get good score in pronunciation and fluency, then you can repeat 70% of the content. Next is 83, and this is the retail lecture. 78.
The speaker was discussing what the brain actually does. He talked about.
So this is the first line, and this is the second line. Mentioned third line, highlighted fourth line, then fifth line. So note down the 6 phrases. 6 phrases are more than sufficient because you have to speak more than 15 seconds, like 18, 20, 25 seconds are more sufficient. And this is the fledgling, anniversary, herbivore. My answer was correct, but software is not picking. 4 was actually right.
4.
It's taking food. Next is agriculture. So it will take time to compile it. So this is the score of listening section because it's the live mock test of the listening section. It's 88 overall and 10 in reading, and speaking it's 36 and writing it's 49. So this is the task wise. 40% repeat 90, then highlight, filling the blanks, retell lecture, and this is summarize spoken text. So these tasks are important, which are contributing most in the listening section. And if you have any query, then you can write in the comment box. And if you want to take online and offline help for classes for particular section, then you can contact me. My number is always given in the description box. And share these videos with your friends, and please do subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching this video.